Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Best Kept Secrets. I'm your host, Lele Pons, and I'm so happy to be back with you guys today. In case you don't know, and this is your first time listening to this podcast, this is what it's all about. Every episode, I'm going to speak to two anonymous callers who will share their secrets with us. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're really serious, sometimes they're X-rated. We literally talk about it all. Whether this is your first time listening or you've been riding with us since the beginning, make sure to hit the follow button so you can stay up to date with all of our best kept news.
The following content contains adult subject matter, including sensitive material, and is intended for adult consumption only. It may not be suitable for all audiences. Therefore, discretion is advised. Lele Pons is not a trained expert, but is using her personal experiences and platform to create a space for sensitive discussions.
Today's caller both revealed their biggest secret fears. And let me tell you, I can totally relate. We all have been afraid of something at one point in our lives, and when I was younger, I was super afraid of ghosts. I thought I was going to be like possessed or something. But as I got older, I realized that ghosts, that I wasn't running into them in the street, nowhere. I've never even seen one. So, they don't exist in my world from what I've seen. I mean, I know they exist, but it's not likely that I'm going to run into them or talk to them anytime soon. Another fear that I do have, and I still have today, is needles, which is a lot harder to conquer because the possibility of it occurring is literally every week because I have a lot of allergies, so I take an allergy shot every Wednesday. And in addition to that, OCD has made dealing with fear pretty challenging, and there were moments where fear seriously impacted my life. I would be too afraid to go out and leave my house and just live my life. And it was only after I did a lot of work with myself and with my therapist that I was able to get a grip on it. Let's kick off today's show with our first caller, Billy. Hi, Billy. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm dying to know. We're all dying to know. What is your best kept secret?
My biggest secret is that I'm actually afraid of whales.
Okay, so this is your best kept fear secret.
Yes, definitely it's a fear.
No, of course. So yeah, I've been there. I know what a fear is. I'm afraid of like some animals too. So I want to know, why are you afraid of whales? What happened?
Actually, it took place when I was a fairly little kid. It's one of my first memories. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, and as a vacation, we went for a day outing to the local SeaWorld, which was actually in Cleveland of all places. It's since been shut down, but started there, and we were supposed to be there all day. And I remember very vividly that my parents had bought me a Hawaiian punch. So it's this red fruit punch. And my father was holding me, and he held me over what was this big blue tank. And I couldn't move, but all I saw was this enormous figure, this black figure come up. And I couldn't get away because my dad was holding me, and it scared the shit out of me.
Of course. And you know what's crazy? They say that whatever happens to you your first 5 years, you're always going to have some weird memory of it.
Yeah, it was insane.
Your first 5 years of life is so important for your parents to know what's going on, because whatever happens, you'll have that feeling. You'll remember it. For example, you even if you don't understand why, it's because, and you said like you're just one of your first memories, something that stuck with you. So
what was crazy in the moment, I immediately got ill. Like I threw up. So I remember throwing up this red fruit punch, and then my parents were like so freaked out. And it was probably the early part of the day, but we had to leave the actual theme parks, which just added to the trauma of that day.
Yeah. So your dad obviously knew you were scared.
Yes, but I don't think they understood the magnitude, because since then I have a reoccurring dream that I've had my entire life about whales, and it completely like shocks me out of sleep every single time.
You think that was like a trauma?
Yeah, I definitely think it is. Yeah.
Can you describe the dream?
Absolutely. So imagine a dam, like a wall where they hold water back, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
The formation, it's a whole bowl of this kind of dam looking thing. So concrete bowl. And then it's about 40 to 60 feet down is water. And there's no ladders or anything to get down in the water. But I'm looking in with this like group of people, and the whole thing is filled with like different types of whales, like orca whales and sperm whales, blue whales, and they're just playing. And I'm looking, and I'm kind of in fear. And then for some reason, of course, I slip and fall and slide right down into the water. And then they just play with me like a baby seal. They just tearing me apart and throwing me around. And every single time it gets to that point. I'm like, I'm drowning, but yet being like beat around by these whales. It's just insanity. Real. Yeah, it feels so real.
Is this the only sea creature that you're afraid of?
It is. I mean, I don't like the water at all, but like, I'm not really afraid of many animals at all. I would just say, like, I have tried to get over this in my adult years by going out and surfing in like shallow water.
So you swim in the ocean?
I will go in the ocean, but I won't go deep.
Of course. No,
That's
of course.
The deal. Yeah.
But let me tell you something. The good thing about this is that you will not be able to ever meet a whale in person while you're walking in the street.
Well, that's funny that you should say that, actually, because like I told you, I grew up in a small town in Ohio, and my job ended up taking me around the country. And I ended up, because of my job, getting stationed in San Diego, working inside SeaWorld, where I had to walk by every day by this orca tank. But I would, by all accounts, try to avoid it in every moment. It was really like, for 5 years I worked there and would have to like avoid it at all costs.
I think that might actually like triggered you a little bit more. You know?
Maybe. When I tell this story, which I've only told very few people, I almost am laughing about it because I can't. It's like, it's an insane thing. But then I think about people who are scared of spiders or snakes, and it's like, I mean, there's tiny little things, but like a whale can swallow you whole.
Yeah,
you know?
But I think they're afraid of spider because they don't know where they're coming from, and they do appear everywhere. You know, the good thing about this is that unless you literally like land in the middle of the ocean, that's when I'm going to be like, listen.
Yeah. And typically, like if I had stayed in Ohio, I would never have to worry about whales ever. But I'm in San Diego. I have to travel a lot. I've been in places where there are whales, and I'm just trying to avoid it. Yeah. There have been several times where my girlfriend had bought tickets for her family and I, because I didn't tell her any of this, but like she had bought tickets for us to go whale watching.
But what is up with you and whales? Like it's somehow like you're afraid of whales, but like it just follows you around. Like,
oh, thank you. Now I have to worry about it following me.
Listen, I can be afraid of like, let's say whales too, but like now I'm working with them. My let's say my boyfriend wants me to watch a whale. Like imagine like somebody wants you to be in a whale movie. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like somehow like why can it not be another animal? In what ways does your fear affect your life?
Well, like I said before, I was having to be surrounded by this. You know, the SeaWorld's spokesperson is essentially an orca whale. And so I would have to be around it, but I did everything I could to not be by that actual animal. Since then, it hasn't really affected me, obviously not on a day-to-day, but it does keep me from going into the water. And it does kind of make me afraid of even, this sounds insane, but it's even pools. I don't like pools because I'm like, what's in the bottom? You know, it is that kind of thing that gets grown from a very young age.
So I want to know, I'm going to go back to this. What happened to that girlfriend story?
Okay, so I mean, it's kind of insane, and it's so they got tickets. We were supposed to go whale watching, but I was like, "There's no way. One, I'm going to tell her, and two, am I going to go?" And so I had to like act like I was sick the day of, and so I felt really bad that they like went out and on the boat, right? The problem was when they went out, they didn't see any whales, and so when they got back to shore, back to the docks, they gave them free tickets for all the tickets they had purchased to go for another time. So now I've got to figure out how am I going to avoid this a second time. It's so insane.
So you haven't told her?
No, I think I'm just going to have to break up with her, to be honest. I mean, I'm not going to deal with this. Not with
do you
her.
really like her? I mean, then you don't like her that much.
I don't like her enough to go out and see whales. That's for sure.
Yeah. What are some of the excuses that you've given to get out of the beach or boat or the SeaWorld? Well, other excuses you've done?
Well, I mean, usually it's that I just stay on the beach and I don't make any excuses at all. I'm just like, I just want to lay on the beach. It's just my thing, instead of going in the water. But like on this occasion, I definitely just faked food poisoning because I just felt like you can't really, I would just close the door and be like, that kind of thing.
I doubt you can because you are traumatized, but have you seen the movie Free Willy? Can you see whales on TV, or does that make you feel like a little anxious?
Okay, my name is Bill, and the long version of that is William. And so as a child, I was tormented constantly because nobody knew that I was afraid of whales, but they would all be like, Free Willy! So it's followed me my whole freaking life. Aww. Maybe in a past life I was like a cuttlefish or something, and I got eaten by a whale. I have no idea.
I don't know.
No idea. but it just followed me.
Do you really think a whale could swallow you whole?
Have you seen a whale? Are you kidding me? I mean,
this
is
right,
another
Pinocchio.
time where I was Pinocchio. Exactly.
Yeah.
One time I was in Mexico. I was with a bunch of people, and they saw a whale shark.
Oh,
which,
yeah,
by
I've
all
seen
accounts, those things are huge, right? And they have mouths that are as big as a minivan. And then people, they were all just jumping in the water and swimming. I was like freaking out. I was like, I was like holding on to the boat because I was for sure that he was just going to like attack the boat and sink it.
Oof, no, I've seen them in Cabo. I went to Cabo and I saw them. So I want to ask you one last question. How much money would it take for you to get in the ocean and touch a whale?
And to touch it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about touching a whale. To get him, I don't know. That's kind of a tough question.
$1 billion?
It would have to be life-changing. It would have to be life-changing.
$1 billion.
It would have to be
$1 billion.
Okay, for $1 billion, maybe, but that's
damn.
I can only say
I
that
got a
because
maybe.
Only because, like, I know that's not realistic. If you were holding a suitcase full of $1 million, then maybe I could figure it out.
No,
I would be
for real though.
Probably shitting my pants the whole time, honestly.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing your secret with us and your fear. Listen, we all have fears. I swear I have a lot of fears. I have fears of needles, okay? And that you see every day. I mean, I have allergy attacks, right? So, like I'm allergic to a lot of things. So every week I have to take an allergy shot. So,
oh my God.
And I'm afraid of needles. Like, of needles. Like, I cry. Like, I lock myself.
My God.
No, it's bad. Yeah. So, you're good.
Well,
Trust me.
at least you're not getting that shot by a whale. That's all I'm going to say.
That is...
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, it depends. I don't mind whales. That's the thing. So I probably would feel calmer because like I'd be so distracted. What the hell is this? They put the freaking shot on me and I don't even notice. So I understand what you're going through. We all have our fears. So thank you so much for opening up and telling your story.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, guys. Even though it may be a little bit hard to understand how someone could be afraid of whales, the fear feels real. And I know because I've been afraid of a lot of things like needles that people are like, why are you afraid of needles? And it's real. It's something we can't explain. Something probably happened when we were a child. And for him, it did happen. Something happened when he was a child. And as I said before, the 5 first years of your lives are extremely important and they will determine a lot of things in your future that you can't even explain. For example, they determine what your fears are, what you don't like, what you do like, some things like deja vu that you don't know how to explain. Sometimes you like a place and sometimes you're like, oh, this is where my childhood was, or like, I've seen this before. And in my case, I remember like, I like crocodiles. I don't know why I like crocodiles. People ask me, why do you like crocodiles so much? And I'm just like, I don't know. All I remember is that when I was a child, a good memory that I had was with my dad. We lived in a farm. There was babas. Babas are crocodiles, little tiny crocodiles. And I would play near them, obviously not with them, but like my dad would like teach me about like babas, about crocodiles. It was also his favorite animal. So it's something that stuck to me. And people always ask me, I just don't get it. But I'm just like, me neither, to be honest. I don't know. I liked them since I was a little girl. And my fears of needles, on the other hand, was because my mom was a doctor and she would put needles like on me, like, bah, and like, it's just hard to explain, but it's a fear that I've had. Maybe one day she did it too hard and I freaked out. I don't remember exactly, but I know she told me that I've hated needles since I was like a very, very young age, like 5, 4, 3. And so I understand why he's afraid of whales. He was probably traumatized because of what happened to him. And even though we may think it's a silly fear and don't understand why he's afraid of whales, as an adult, it's a real feeling. It's time for a quick break, but before we do so, I want to know what your biggest secret fear is. Head to shots.com/secrets to let me know. Hang tight, I'll be right back. And we're back. Hey guys, we're talking about our biggest secret fears today. We just heard from Billy, and now it's time to continue our conversation with our second caller, Jonathan. Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
Hi, I am so good. I'm currently hiding in my closet because my husband is having a meeting downstairs and I'm too ashamed for him to hear my secret.
That is so funny. Wait. I think we're dying to know. What is your secret?
Well, my secret is that I am terrified, petrified to be home alone because I think that someone is going to kidnap me, or like a horror movie, if you will, anything of that sort that does not favor the ingenue.
Isn't that when you were a little kid, you were afraid of the dogs that would like sleep with their parents?
Okay, here's the deal. Do not throw shade about sleeping with the parents. Sometimes you need an authoritative figure.
I still
when
sleep
it
with my
comes
parents.
to-
It's fine. I still sleep
Thank
with my
you.
parents. What specifically are you really afraid of? Just like that or like more things?
Well, the thing that makes me scared the most is being alone. I think that someone is just going to come in and steal me.
Did anything happen in your childhood that made you think that? Like, when did you develop this fear?
Well, I don't know if you have seen this show, but in the 90s, it was on network television. It's called Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, yeah.
And I was watching it when I was 7 years old. And I remember going, wait, so this whole story is unsolved? What about me? Like, what if this happens to me? It is unsolved? What if someone comes through my window? It is unsolved. I don't need anything to be unsolved for me.
I feel like we've definitely, and I'm telling you, we've definitely come across that fear once in our life. I'm telling you, it's because you know what it is? Like, I can't be like, hey, it's not going to happen. It's not possible. I mean, it is possible, you know?
No, wait, no, don't.
I mean, no, listen.
No, don't tell me it's possible.
I mean,
I love you.
I love you too. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to happen. Like, the possibilities of it happening is like 1 out of a million, but it can't. But that's why we're afraid of it. Because it's not like a freaking like dinosaur that's coming in. It's like you're talking about a person.
Okay, so what you were telling me right now is that
there's 1% chance that that's real and possible. 1.
So my husband, he travels sometimes. Oh my God, I cannot believe I'm telling you this right now. Okay, so my husband travels sometimes for work, and because of COVID and everything that is going on, I'm whispering, I'm sorry, because I'm in the closet. I don't want him to hear. I invite friends over to my house
I do the
so
same thing.
that I'm not alone, because I have a fear.
I actually do have a fear of like, not demons, but like getting possessed, like ghosts. Like I start to hear stuff, not people.
Hearing stuff
Yeah.
freaks me out.
I know. It freaks me out too.
Normally, like at night, we have a timer for our backyard or something where the light will go off, but I didn't know there was a timer. So the light went off and I thought it was a sensor. So I made myself go downstairs to check to see if someone was going to steal me. And during the day, though, if I'm like in the office or something of that sort and I hear a noise that is abnormal, I literally am like, it's a ghost.
Okay, this is what you have to do. All right, I'm gonna give you advice. You should have a panic room in your house. I'm not kidding.
I'm in the closet.
Yeah, no, not a closet, a panic room.
Okay.
It's really like if you're really afraid of that, you know, you never know. It's if you're really afraid of it, it's gonna help you.
The panic room include you because you are pretty, and so if someone breaks in through the door, I could just throw you at them and then escape myself.
Very smart. A distraction. Very smart. Not me. Maybe whoever you're with. Maybe a puppy. I don't know. But no, not a puppy. Okay, use me. I'd rather be than a puppy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I am fully embarrassed.
No, oh my God.
The whole thing.
Do not be embarrassed. We all have fears. Listen, at least your fear is, I told you, is about something that's possible. Some people have fears of like dinosaurs coming back. Some people have fears of like, you know, getting abducted by aliens. And like, I'm telling you, people have fears that are obviously more extreme and like 100% not going to happen sometimes. Like, and you have a fear that many people have, you know, and my mom has that fear as well.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
Can I tell you a secret though?
Yes, that's
Okay.
That's why this is called Best Kept Secret. Yes, you can.
I know even more secrets because we're sisters, we're having a kiki, we're having a good time because I feel so comfortable. But okay, is this illogical? And you can tell me, like, this is insane.
I'll tell you.
And you can tell me that.
I'll tell you.
Okay. At one point, I was living in an apartment that was 3 floors up on the 3rd floor. My husband went away for a work trip. I could not fall asleep. I locked the doors. I was OCD about locking the doors because I thought a person was going to scale the walls and kidnap me.
I think you're not crazy at all, and I think it's very, 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 very logical. I actually think that you might have a mental disorder. I think you might. You never know. Because I used, like, how you're saying it, you think that this is going to happen. You think, you're really scared.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this because I've met many people with OCD that have that problem too, that are scared of that exact thing. And I think you should get checked out by a professional. Maybe you have it, maybe you don't. Maybe it's just a fear. But I think that if I can ever help you is by encourage you to go and seek, like, help. If it's such a big deal that you can't leave your house. But if you can't leave your house and it's just like sometimes you're like that. But if it's every single day, I think that you're not crazy at all. I think that maybe there's something going on that you don't even know, So I think that's completely normal. You're not the first person that I've ever heard that has told me that. I think you maybe you're one of me. Maybe you're in my club. Maybe you actually need to go see a therapist, and that person tells you, no, you're not crazy. This is what's going on.
I mean, you don't want to know about my reactions because every time I go somewhere or I go to a hotel, I'm always looking for a way out just in case.
What's the longest time that you can be alone?
I was alone in a long distance relationship for a while, for years. And that did not help with my anxiety at all. Like, that probably intensified it for being alone and being stolen, if you will.
Yeah, because it's long distance relationship. You're not physically with a person.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, so what do you tell your friends when you invite them over that you are, like, scared or just want to hang out?
Girl time. Speaking of, do you want to have some girl time soon, Layla?
Yeah. I would like to have a girl time too. Listen, I call my girls every single night, but for other reasons, because I don't want to be alone and because I have a lot of bad thoughts. But that's another type of OCD, But what we have to do is do the opposite, stay alone. But then you're not ready to do that yet because it's a process, which I think, I'm telling you, it might work. It might because you don't want to feel like this the rest of your life, no?
I agree with that statement. Yeah. So I think that my husband needs to go away for a little bit, and you need to come down, and we need to have a kiki, and then you just educate me more about being independent and not scared.
Yeah, no, it's you never know. Maybe it is. Maybe you do have some stuff that you can get help with. Does your husband or your friends know about your fear?
No, because it is very embarrassing to me. I can laugh and giggle and all that kind of stuff. It's very embarrassing because I am a grown-ass man and I can not even handle this fear. And so, like, it's a struggle for me, honestly. And I can't even imagine being honest and being like, hey, this is an actual fear for me or causes me anxiety.
Yeah, it's tough. And I understand you don't want to be judged, and you're afraid of what other people might think of you. But honestly, like, you would be surprised how many people might support you, because especially.
You think so?
Yeah.
Honestly, you think so?
Yeah, because you're showing your real self. You're showing a side that is so innocent. You're just scared. Like who has, like, throw a rock? Who hasn't been scared? Like.
Yeah.
So I think that you should tell them. But I think before you even tell them, or maybe after you tell them, they probably will tell you the same thing as me. Maybe you should go check up. Maybe you should go see a doctor and see if you actually have, like, are diagnosed with OCD and when in this particular section. Do you think taking a self-defense class or getting a taser would make you feel less scared?
You're giving me anxiety right now.
That's good then, because I'm giving you, if I give you anxiety, it's exposure therapy.
Because I know, like, in my heart, I know logically that this might be insane or crazy, But my logical sign, Cancer.
I'm a Cancer too, by the way.
Is like emotional.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm right. But if you speak it into existence by taking a class, then you're really screwed because you're like, okay, someone will attack you.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You think someone's going to attack you, so why don't you go take a class, get a security camera? That's how it is, huh? Or
I know, but you're giving me anxiety. I'm not going to lie. You're going to be giving me anxiety thinking about it.
But guess what? That's right. That's reverse psychology. That is exactly exposure and response behavior. That's what I do.
Ooh. Stop with wisdom. You need to stop with wisdom.
Mm-hmm. So when for example, I have OCD. I have OCD, and I'm afraid that I might get possessed. I used to be afraid of that. And guess what? My therapy told me to make me stop. This is my experience. For my therapist to make me stop being afraid of getting possessed at night. This is what she told me. You're gonna get possessed. Yeah. Oh my God. You're gonna be super possessed. You're gonna be possessed all your life. You're gonna go to. Yeah. She told me that. And guess what? After I was just like, what the? I don't. No. I said, no, what? Why do you say that? That's how you just answered me. You yourself was like, no, I don't want to do that because that means it's real. You know it's not. Then you know it's not real inside you. It's just like your brain is just eating you up in there, I think you should. I really think you should go to a specialist for OCD. As someone that
Well, why do I need a specialist when I have you? Like, literally, just come to my house and tell me that I'm going to be stolen every single night. And then I'm like, okay, no, I'm not going to be stolen.
I am not a specialized therapy, but I can tell you when I see a potential person that might, I will always push them to go and get better and see if they can get more help than what I can give them. So I think that I want the best for you, and I don't want you to be always in fear. So I wish you the best, and I hope you take my advice.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to tell my secret to you as I'm hiding in the closet. And I really do feel like you have encouraged me to go seek help and talk to my husband about my fear and everything. I appreciate you.
You're not going to regret it. I can't wait for you to look back at this and be like, what the fuck?
And then, okay, so what time are you coming to my house to watch me?
I'll come, you know what? I'll come at nighttime when it's the most scary time.
No, that's too scary. Stop.
I know.
No. Thank you. I appreciate you. For sure. Thank you.
Have a good day and get out of the closet.
Not the first time that someone told me that, honey.
Oh my God. Not the first time I told someone that. Whew, okay. I know I probably sounded, a little bit serious on this while he was trying to be funny, but the thing is, this is very close to home. I've seen way too many people, like Jonathan, kind of like, use comedy or use like to laugh about like the condition, laugh about it, make jokes about it. But that is a way of them calming themselves down. And I, as someone that has been going to therapy and someone that has OCD, I know that that's a way to distract yourself from like knowing what you really have. And as someone that has wanted to help so much people to actually go and push them to actually go and get better, I kind of was just like, wait 1 second, this is not funny. Like this is actually something that might, I am probably 80% sure he has a problem. I can't diagnose him. I can't do anything, but I want to push him to actually find out if he does and if he doesn't. This is why I was a little bit, pushy with him. Like, listen, like you should, because you remind me, and he reminded me of so many of people, of my friends that have the same thing. And then they started laughing about it. And then you see my therapist got there being like, oh, it's funny to you. And like, she changes it up. And that's why I try to do something. I try to do what my therapist said to do when I have my OCD. And he reacted the same way I would react. And that's what was like, oh, okay. He felt uncomfortable when I gave him a reverse psychology, kind of thing. So he really didn't pass the exposure response one. I don't know. I just feel protective of him. I want to protect him. I know he probably has something similar to what I have had. I can relate because I had like that. I thought I was going to be possessed in the middle of the night, but I went and got help, and I did the same thing. She said the same thing that I would tell him, and it's hard. And so I understand him, but it breaks my heart Because now he's joking around, but what about it when he's actually alone and can't find anybody to come over? That's no more fun and games. Something might happen. He might actually freak out, have an OCD or whatever attack. And I don't want that, and I feel for him and I hope he gets the help. I hope that everything gets better because I've been there. I just want to say thank you so much to both Billy and Jonathan for calling in today and for being so open about sharing their fears and their stories. As Billy told us, he's afraid of whales, which obviously sucks, and as he can't even go to the beach. I mean, I love the beach. But at the same time, at least one positive thing is that it hasn't taken over his life completely. It's not like he has to worry about bumping into a killer whale, every time he walks down the street. So he's good. Just, he just doesn't have to go underwater or something. I mean, to be honest, he just doesn't have to go in the middle of the ocean. But on the other hand, for our caller Jonathan, his fear of being kidnapped anytime he finds himself alone obviously has a more constant impact on his life. I know what it feels like to be afraid in your own home, so I truly understand, and I know it truly sucks. I talked a little bit about exposure therapy during and after my call with Jonathan because that's a technique that has really helped me deal with a lot of my issues and fears. Let me explain to you guys what exposure therapy is, for those who don't know. Exposure therapy is a common technique in behavior therapy to treat anxiety disorders. It's basically something you don't want to try to do on your own. You definitely want to have a therapist or another professional with you. But also, they will encourage you to do it yourself eventually when you get a grip, when you know what it's about. Basically, the idea is that you'll be slowly exposed to whatever your fear is, and that over time, this gradual exposure will help you overcome your fear and anxiety. I was telling Jonathan about how my exposure therapy helped me deal with my fear of being possessed at night. Another thing that exposure therapy helped me deal with was to deal with not giving in to my OCD and my fears. For example, I used to touch the dinner table multiple times a day. I used to touch it 3 times a day. It couldn't be 4. It couldn't be, 2. It had to be exactly 3 and very, very specific. I had to touch it perfectly, what my mind thought was perfect. So an exposure therapy that my therapist told me to do was to touch it 4 times, to touch it 6 times. And that was horrible for me. But I would do it. And I had to touch it in a way that was not perfect. Once you start doing that a couple times, that obsession goes away. That fear that, if you don't touch it 3 times, something bad's going to happen. Because that was my fear. I promise you it will go away. Which brings me to the question of the week, which is, do you have a fear you want to conquer? Head over to my Twitter and Instagram at Lele Pons to vote in the poll and share your best kept secret fear with me. Stay brave, stay happy, and stay healthy, guys. Love you. See you next week.
If you or someone you know are struggling emotionally, text START to 741-741 for a confidential chat anytime.
Bum, bum.
Thanks for listening to Best Kept Secrets with me, Lele Pons, only on Spotify in partnerships with Shot Studios. The Shot Studios original team includes creators John Shahidi and Sam Shahidi, my lovely producer Belinda Mercer, and audio editor Stephen Colon. From Spotify Studios, executive producers Javier Pinol, Liz Gately, Gina Delvac, and Danny Trebodge. And a special thanks to Dan Behar, Jessica Molina, Francisco Quijada, and Julio Pabon. I'm Lele. Follow me on Instagram at Lele Pons and check out my exclusive merch at lilshop.com. That is Lil Shop, Lil shop.com. Talk to you next week.